Okay, well, I'm showing it's a little bit afternoon, so we can go ahead and get started. Welcome to our Growing Readers Together webinar with the Alamosa Public Library. Growing Readers Together is a 7-year project of the Colorado State Library that provided direct grants to libraries and the programs funded by the Buell Foundation. Growing Readers Together focuses on supporting library professionals who are developing services to informal family, friend, and neighbor caregivers of children in their communities. And Quick Bites is a series of 20-minute talks on various topics related to early childhood, early learning, and working with FFN caregivers in the library. And this year, we're hosting some of our grantees who will share the work that they've done in their libraries through Growing Readers Together.
Awesome. Thanks, Christine. And it's my pleasure to introduce Holly Van Hoy from Alamosa. So just to kind of give you all a little overview blurb of what we're going to have in our short time together today. Alamosa Public Library utilized GRT, Growing Readers Together funds, to reach out to our FFN, family, friends, and neighbors in 3 ways. They promoted the library as a source of camaraderie and support for caregivers, spruced up their early learning play area, and provided quality books and materials for in-house use. So Holly Van Hoy from Alamosa is going to report the successes and the challenges, including hosting a spa night without running water, which makes me giggle. So with that, Holly, go ahead and take it away.
Thanks very much, Christine and Becky.
Yeah.
My name is Holly. I am the Youth Services Associate Librarian, I learned is my title, here at Alamosa Public Library. I've been here for 5 years now. And whenever I talk about being a librarian, there's always a little bit of imposter syndrome because I spent the first 15 years of my career in preschool. I am an early childhood education professional pretending to be a librarian. And Alamosa lets me do that. So I'm very grateful to be here. A little bit about me. My pronouns are she, her, hers. For those who in attendance who may not be able to see me, it's not obvious in this format, but I am a very short human at all of 5'1". I have chin-length brownish blondish hair, green eyes, and I'm wearing a gray sweater today and my drugstore reading glasses because my eyes decided to stop reading the minute I turned 42, which was rude.
I can relate. I'll put myself on mute, sorry. Go ahead.
Today we're going to talk about a few ways to get early literacy materials into the hands of our family, friend, and neighbor caregivers, those informal caregivers that in library land we refer to as FFN. I'm going to focus on our spa night event and our story time to go kits that we are currently racing to put together for an event next week. But I'll also cover a couple of other ways that we reached out to those informal caregivers in our community. And as Becky said, address some of the challenges that we faced in working through our GRT funds. A little bit about Alamosa. We are in the world's largest alpine valley. I forget which state we're the size of, but it's a valley that is the size of a state, which blows my mind. And Alamosa is the largest city in the San Luis Valley. The population of Alamosa is around 10,000 people, but our library serves all 6 counties, which is a very rural area, a lot of farming communities. There are other libraries in our area. Most of them are very small and either primarily volunteer run or volunteer run. So since we are the largest city here, we're where everybody comes to go to the grocery store or to do like a big shop at the big box stores. So we also get to serve people living in other counties and other communities, but that have a library card here with us. So we are a public library. We're a city library. We're not part of a branch system. We are floating out here on our own, but we have a great community, a lot of great partnerships, including the Colorado State Library and Growing Readers Together. According to our San Luis Valley Early Childhood Council, they submitted a report last year regarding childcare in our valley. There's a huge gap in care. I would call it a childcare crisis for our youngest community members. There are around 4,680 children between the ages of birth to 5 years in our valley, and only 1,440 licensed childcare spots for this age group across all counties, not just Alamosa. And with more and more primary caregivers in the workforce as part of the full-time workforce or even part-time workforce, that leaves a ton of children in informal care, which is why it's so important for us to support those care providers. So we were stoked to be working with Growing Readers Together. Here's what we planned. We decided that we would have a three-pronged approach. We wanted to invite our caregivers here to like soak up some good library vibes, to learn that this is a place that has lots of resources that they may not associate with libraries, to learn that this is not, especially when I'm here, a quiet place at all, and that kids are welcome, that it's not your grandmother's library anymore. So to get people here, also to sort of spruce up our youth play area, we do have some seating, but not a ton, and some of it isn't exactly comfortable. Some of it is too comfortable. Some of it is like not quite wide enough for an adult-sized person. So we wanted to get some more seating to welcome more side-by-side reading. Like if you've got a grandfather trying to read to a 2-year-old, there just wasn't a good place for those two generations to sit and read together. So we worked on that. And then we really just wanted to be able to give away some good stuff. You know, it's of course fun to like order a ton of paperback books and take them to a farmer's market and dole them out willy-nilly, but it's also really satisfying to get some quality children's literature in a hardback format, and be able to like give a family a real box of treasures. So that was what we decided to do because it felt like a lot of money. So our way of inviting folks here was to host a couple of Play, Learn, and Grow workshops. I linked that in my slides. I don't know that you can click it, but if Becky, you could share that. If you haven't already explored that on the Colorado Department of Ed's website, it's everything that you need.
Okay, and right now I can't, but I will later. Like once you're not sharing screen anymore, then we can definitely put that link in.
Okay,
so
great.
Thanks. Mm-hmm.
It's an awesome resource. There are handouts in English and in Spanish. They look beautiful. There are also a series of videos, or you could watch it as one continuous video that is geared toward adults, that talks about child development, brain development, different ways that you can utilize things in your home to play, learn, and grow with your 0 to 5s. And they're really well done. So kudos to the team that put those together. So we decided to host some workshops because that was going to be super convenient and easy and quality. We also decided we wanted to welcome people here by having a spa night for caregivers. I learned a lot through this process. So we'll talk some more about that. I won't harp on Play, Learn, and Grow because everything is there. And I know some other folks in presentations for Quick Bites have talked a little bit about Play, Learn, and Grow workshops. If you haven't checked them out yet, check them out. We talked a little bit about our new seating. I haven't taken a picture of it. I'm the worst photographer in the world. So just trust me, we got cute seating. And then we'll talk some more in depth about our story time to go kits that we're going to be handing out to keep. I also threw in there that we did some outreach at various farmers markets, one of which is a weekly farmers market at our farm park that's very close by. And so I got to go every Wednesday in August and hand out books, read stories with kids, play on the playground, just be a nice library lady. And that was a really great way to meet people too. So let's zero in on the spa night. We got caregivers to take their shoes off in the story room. I said to my co-conspirators that helped me with this project, they're not going to take their shoes off. Like, we should have it available, but they're not going to take their shoes off. That's going to be a real stickler for some people. But no, everybody took their shoes off. We don't have running water in our story room. I am in our beautiful story room now. And it's a great, big, beautiful room, but no sink. So I spent some time with our electric kettle and just filled up my little cooler that I put a picture of there. And it turned out to be plenty of water. I was sweating that would we have enough. And then we just got these little white tubs that I also threw on the slide there from Walmart that were big enough, at least for my feet, and nobody else complained. So we just put some warm water in there with some Epsom salts and a little, some different oils, scented oils, essential oils. So that was our foot soak. And it was just that easy. Part of our intention with hosting this was to get caregivers together without their children, to take a moment for themselves, and to learn about how they can incorporate these moments into their real, actual daily life. I put a little photo there of Dancing Badger's beautiful logo and some of their materials. We partnered with Dancing Badger Bodyworks, which is a family-run growing business here in Alamosa. Husband and wife team, Marlena and Jesse. Jesse practices acupuncture and massage and facilitated stretching, among other things. Marlena is passionate about self-care and creating skincare products that are safe enough to ingest. So they brought some lavender oil that they distilled and infused themselves, as local as possible. So that was really a great feeling too, to get this grant funding and then be able to like keep that money local. And they also came and helped lead the workshop with me. They taught us how to create a sugar scrub. We just had those cute little, there's a picture there with the pumpkin mask in it. I got a bunch of those cute little jars. So there was a jar for everybody to take some lavender oil home, a jar of the pumpkin mask that we made, which I did not go the super organic route of boiling pumpkin and mashing it. I bought organic pumpkin in a can and everybody was cool about it. We added honey and a little bit of pumpkin seed oil. We used, of course, what I had here in the story room, our craft sticks, tongue depressors to mix everything up, nothing fancy. And they could choose to apply that here in the story room. I had all kinds of like fragrance-free wipes and hand wipes, since there is not really water in here. I don't know if I mentioned that. So, we got to scrub our faces. We made a sugar scrub for our hands. We talked a little bit about like self-massage and breath work and meditation, without sort of beating everybody over the head about this is the right way or the wrong way to do it. It was just about like remembering to take a moment for yourself.
It's awesome. You're getting a lot of wonderful comments.
Oh, great.
And it's sounding so tempting right now.
Well, that was how I was hoping I would lure people in. We'll come back to this in the challenges.
Yeah. And
one of the challenges is trying not to, nitpick how I thought it went. When I talk about it, I go, that's really great. But there were some challenges with it. Sure. One more thing I will say is that, like getting pumpkin mask off of your face with a moist towelette essentially was tricky. But it was just pumpkin. Everything came out of the carpet. It was all okay.
That's cool. And how many people attended really quickly? As we have a
4.
question. 4.
That was one of my personal challenges, is feeling like that was still successful. Kate Bruner is always talking about, like, sometimes it's not about the numbers, it's about the connections that you made. And those 4 women shared with each other. Like, it was a really intimate and lovely evening together. So I'm fine.
Yeah.
But it was really meaningful. So trying not to harp on the fact that, like, I bought enough stuff for 20 people and I got 4, just means I get to do it again.
Yeah.
So trying to take a step back, and see how we can try something different as far as, like, marketing. Everything was available that night to take home, including their towels, their tubs. And we also sent home some information to inspire a spa play day at home, or when you are taking care of these 0 to 5-year-old people. So we had a lot of ideas that I broke down into the 5 early literacy practices of sing, talk, read, play, write, including, like, creating some signage, making up a name for your salon, talking about, alliteration. Is it going to be Happy Holly's Hair Extravaganza? Some different books to read. Of course, I had an insane book list that was way too long, and the room crowded with books. You could also, of course, like, play music in your salon. How do you want your salon to feel? What kind of music do you want it to be? As everybody else on the internet is, I'm in love with the song from Mother Moon, I Love My Body. That's just the sweetest. How to use mirrors to make faces with babies. So we made it work for 0 to 5. And while they weren't here that night, to be able to take home this self-care regimen and implement it as a really fun early literacy day of activities. Are there any other questions about the spa night, logistics, or?
I'm not seeing any right now. And like I said to folks, we've got about 6 now. Feel free to unmute and I think you're good to go, Holly.
Okay.
Got about 10 minutes.
Great. So that's what we've done so far. Next, we will create some Storytime to Go kits. We have Storytime to Go kits for checkout here at our library. They circulate very well. I ran a report and found out which of the top 6 circulate the most, because they are organized by theme. And in each themed box are books, manipulatives, games, a card for parents that has song ideas, activity extension ideas, things to go out into the community and do, things to do at home, ways to use recycled materials in your home to extend the learning. And the themes are things like counting, colors, music and movement, trains, the farm. So just some of those, like, classic story time themes that we sometimes run with, that we could assemble into a box for people to check out and take home. The problem is they're expensive. And so I know for some folks that's a barrier. I don't want to let my kid take home this box that would cost me $100 to replace, if I can't afford to replace it. So when we started planning for our Growing Readers Together funds, I thought, oh, why don't we I won't have to recreate the wheel. I can just take the supplies that are in the top 6 boxes and make 24 Storytime to Go kits to give away. My goal was to reach at least 24 family, friend, and neighbor caregivers to really make a strong connection with, to hand this box to. So our top 6 were trains, construction site, counting, music and movement, colors, and the farm. So I am making 4 Storytime to Go boxes of each of those that I'm going to take over to Tierra Nueva, which is a apartment housing complex for our seasonal migrant farm workers. So we're partnering with our local groups to make sure I'm on the right slide. Yes. Including our Immigrant Resource Center to distribute these boxes at their after school and like meeting room. So we're going to go over to Tierra Nueva. We're going to take the boxes to them. We're going to have play, learn, and grow activities to do all over again, to make sensory boxes and binoculars, but also to hand out those Storytime to Go kits for people to take home. We'll have food that always brings people to events. But I think it'll be really rewarding to go outside of the regular Storytime crowd that comes to everything at the library, and to come out into the community and hand out some of these materials that we are so excited to give away. So that's what's coming up. Do we have any questions about Storytime to Go kits? I know they're really popular in a lot of libraries, so we're excited to give them away.
I'm not seeing anything. I'm loving the intentionality of how you're doing it to the seasonal migrant farm workers. So
Yeah,
I'll keep you posted.
let's see. We'll move on to the not as fun part, to challenges. Really trying to reach beyond the family, friend, and neighbor caregivers that are already part of the established Storytime crowd is challenging. In every Growing Readers Together, I was part of the cohort at the beginning of the year. There was so much talk about, like, how do we get people who are not in the library into the library? How do we spread the word to people that we are there to support them when they may not even identify as someone who needs this support? So that was a definite challenge. I think leaving the library is going to really help, selfishly, me to feel like I'm reaching that group out beyond the library walls, beyond people that already know that we're here, that we have Storytime, that we have bilingual books and stories, that we have Vox books that are checkoutable, that read the book to you. So for English language learners, another really great resource. People may just not realize that we are here for them. So going out into the community, I think, will help to feel like we are reaching beyond the library. Connecting with partners is always challenging, but also really rewarding. Call and call again, try another email, reach out in person, show up at their office, reach out through a mutual partner. So we're really excited. Our friends at the Immigrant Resource Center have been really wonderful to the library for the past 2 years now, and doing regular programming with us. So that was a no-brainer. Advertising. If anybody knows the key to advertising, please just fill me in. How to say what I mean in as few words as possible, not my strong suit. How to explain family, friend, and neighbor without going, are you a babysitter, nanny, auntie, tío, abuela, grandfather? Without, it's just not a readable flyer. So that was really challenging for me as a wordy person. Speaking of which, I should start wrapping myself up here. Tracking successes and documenting statistics. Again, I am really good at talking. I am not great at statistics. But things like talkback boards, I know other folks have mentioned that in their presentations through Quick Bites, but just an easy way to stick a sticker. Are you a parent? Are you a grandmother? Are you a babysitter? Are you other? And allowing people to mark two different things. It doesn't have to just be one. So trying to stay on top of that, and also staying on top of spending the money. This is for me, unbelievably, in how long I've been working in schools and libraries now, the first grant that I've been managing. And that was challenging, but quite a rewarding learning experience. So shout out to Jean at the State Library, because she is a very kind and patient person.
I'll pass that on.
Let's see what we learned. For me, not to be a stickler, I think I was kind of stuck on, but I really need to reach FFN. These parents get everything. Parents come all the time. I'm constantly talking to parents, but making sure that I am letting our family, friend, and neighbor informal caregivers know that they are valued, they are valuable, and that they deserve support also, and that we are here to do that. Kind of got stuck on me a little bit. So now I'm kind of going like, it doesn't matter, just give the stuff away. And counting any positive interaction in or about the library as a contribution to my goal of raising library awareness and the FFN community. Lesson 2, if you build it and they do not come, you are not a failure. Pack up the materials and build it again another time. And then maybe change one thing about your plan. Did you offer it on a weekday when a weekend would maybe work better? Did you offer it in the evening without childcare? Is there a way that you could advertise differently? So maybe just tweaking one thing and trying it again. Lesson 3, this librarian needs to heed her own advice and soak her feet every once in a while. And the library is a surprisingly lovely place to do that, whether you have running water in your story room or not.
Awesome.
Okay, I feel like I just...
No, and we're getting good. For Dawn says, great suggestions for review. I was thinking the same thing too. I really appreciated your share of grace to yourself. Because you do have to think. I mean, it's clear you're very reflective. And so
work in progress always.
Yeah. And I was just writing stuff down a lot here. Yeah. And I don't know if there's anybody in your community who has graphic design experience, but if you know, as you're going out to farmers market, which is getting you outside of your library walls, maybe you'll find someone, because that might help too in creating a flyer. I am like you in that I don't have that background, but having been exposed to some people who do has helped me improve. Yeah.
We have I have wonderful coworkers. We're a pretty small staff of 9, and everybody does a little bit of everything. But I have some really, Judith that painted Penelope there, the dragon behind me, is also great with design. It's just a matter of making sure I give myself and my coworkers enough time to ask that of them, and still like making sure I cut down to just the necessary information rather than a novel.
Yes, I am relating on so many levels on some of that, but I don't see that we have any questions.
Okay.
And we are at our time, Holly, and this was awesome. If yeah, we're getting some smiley faces and stuff in the chat. So thank you so much,
everybody.
This was awesome. Once again, I'm inspired, as I always am after every single one of these. I just get so excited. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks. Have a good
everyone.
Rest of your afternoon. Thank you.
We appreciate the opportunity to share. Thanks for coming, you guys.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye.